From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hi, it's Charlie Matos, and in this episode, we sit down with Ramona Reed. You will love her story. We help celebrate her 90th birthday, and Ramona's story includes Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, the Grand Ole Opry, and Martha White. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Ramona Reed.
Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM.
Hey, you are going to thank me later for what you're about to hear and see. WSM Radio and Circle Television. Welcome back. Bill Cody, Charlie Matos, Eric Markham. Megan's got a long weekend. How a barefoot country girl from southeast Oklahoma becomes a Texas playgirl, as well as Martha White on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Take a look. You've heard me bragging on her for several days now because her son introduced her to me, and I found the story fascinating, and just know you will feel the same when you're through hearing about the remarkable story. 90th birthday for Ramona Reed, who, let me read from the Tulsa World. In just the last few days, they've published an article on her. This probably shouldn't be a strategy for your next job interview, but Ramona Reed bared her soul, both souls, and got the job. Good morning, Ms. Ramona. I'm going to let you pick up the story right there.
Good morning to you.
And happy birthday, too. So it's 1949, 50 along in there that you make your way here on WSM Radio, which is celebrating 95 years, along with the Grand Ole Opry. But you make your way not only onto the stage, but you became a very famous face and character in the history of the Grand Ole Opry and its advertisers.
Yes, as Martha White.
So tell me how you become Martha White. What was that process like? Auditioning, I'm sure, and at some point getting the news that you were her, and what were your duties as Martha White?
Just to come out and sing the song I don't even remember, except something about how many biscuits did you eat this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Biscuits did you eat tonight, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got it. I guess they were looking for someone like me, and I had bothered my folks into letting, me go to Nashville, and my mother and I went down there, and that very day I got on Noontime Neighbors, and then the Opry on Saturday night. But as young as I was 17, to go on the road, so I went back to college for another semester, and then went back to Nashville that summer and was offered the Martha White job.
In the Tulsa World, the article read, Program Director Jack Stapp, and that's a name people who have a history of WSM and the Opry certainly remember, gave the singer and a cowgirl get-up in cowgirl gear a listen and asked if she could sing on the Noontime Neighbor show shortly thereafter.
Yes.
So apparently you were there, and they were down the hall because we were at National Life and Accident Insurance Company downtown on 7th, up at the top of the hill there on 7th Avenue.
Yeah.
He said he got you on the spot on the Opry the following Saturday.
Yes.
And Roy Acuff introduced you. Not as big as a minute and cute as a bug's ear. What do you remember about the great legends and Hall of Famers now that were a part of the Grand Ole Opry that you had listened to as a little girl growing up?
Oh, I couldn't believe that was happening to me, but that's what I had always wanted to do.
You sang on the farm as a kid growing up in Oklahoma? All the neighbors could hear you. You'd sing to animals. You milked cows. You'd sing to them. I'd
climb up on our smokehouse. Mm-hmm. And I was singing. I didn't know these people were listening to me. But evidently they would go outside to listen. And then we moved closer in to town, but it was up on a hill. And someone just recently said, do you remember that White House on the hill where you lived? You'd go out and sing at night. Said everybody would go outside and listen to you.
How do you pronounce the little town where you spent your early life? Tallahena?
Tallahena.
Right. And then you moved to, where are you now as you speak to us?
I'm in Clayton, Oklahoma, about 25 miles from Tallahena.
So closer to Tulsa than Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
So you would go to radio station shows that featured Johnny Lee Wills at Kane's Ballroom. Now, there's a legendary location in that part of the world. You say Kane's Ballroom, it's like saying the Ryman Auditorium here.
Yes.
And when do you get the opportunity through Johnny Lee to audition for his brother, Country Music Hall of Famer Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, and get to be the girl singer?
Of course, Johnny Lee didn't really want a girl singer. He needs a girl singer. I knew Dallas, so a lot of things were going on in Dallas, so I decided to go down there and see what I could do. And Bob Wills was just moving there, and like the story goes, got into that parade and got on out there. And I guess Bob Wills liked what I did. I finally got the audition through Jack Lloyd, who was their lead male singer, and Bobby Coper, the steel man.
Well, he had opened a business known as Bob Wills Ranch House, a music venue there, and that's when you joined him. Is that right?
That was a big dance hall. We had a lot of radio shows going on. Of course, it was just anyone. A lot of the movie stars who came to Dallas, they would always come out there.
This is unbelievable. You were introduced by Roy Acuff first time you were on the Opry, and you were Martha White, the character there, between 1949 and 1950. But you shared on your debut night, you shared a dressing room with Minnie Pearl, who you recall may have been the only other woman on the cast at that point in time.
Yes, I have an old program, in fact, of Grand Ole Opry.
What do you remember about Miss Minnie?
Oh, she was very nice, very, very nice. She had gone to Ward Belmont, and I had gone to Colorado Women's College, so we had something in common.
Bob Wills, you got to tell that story because it's such a great visual. I mean, people can see it as you tell this story about your audition for him and what you wound up doing after you didn't know what else to do because you'd sung everything you knew for him.
Oh, when I took my shoes off?
Yeah. He's smoking a big cigar, sitting there listening to you and not reacting like you had hoped he would, but in fact, he was enjoying every second of it, right?
I couldn't tell whether he liked what I was doing or not. And, his eyes were dark brown and they could get black, and he could sure cut those eyes if you weren't doing what you were supposed to be doing. I was used to being kind of slow, but if you got up to the microphone when you did your part, you had to get out of the way. But you had to be ready to sit up there when he told you, gave you the eye. So I had a lot of training after I started working with him.
Well, what I'd like you to do here, and I love a quote from the article and from your son who turned us on to the fact that you were celebrating a 90th birthday in your history with WSM, and the fact that the Tulsa World was about a week ahead of us in having you on. The story read that Ramona brought cookies and sang at class parties when her kids were in school. She continued the tradition when her daughters became teachers. She now sings for caretakers who help the family take care of her. And it says, guess what happened when a photographer visited Reed's home for a photo shoot? She sang, and you responded beautifully, I don't have to be begged. I never did.
I didn't.
So we're going to try this. If you would, introduce the fella who is there with you. I know your daughter is there, the piano player in the video that a lot of people have seen or will go. Yes, Karen. They will go research it, and they'll see your in-home performance that the Tulsa World references. But you wanted to give us a little Cowboy Sweetheart this morning, and you have a accompanist with you.
Morris, I've known him since he was a kid. Morris McCann.
Okay.
And he's a good guitar guy. He's a pretty good singer. But anyway, I'm just lucky to have him out here this morning.
Give us a verse and chorus of Cowboy Sweetheart.
I want to be a cowboy sweetheart. I want to learn to rope and ride. I want to ride o'er the plains and deserts and west of the great divide. I want to hear the coyotes howling while the sun sinks in the west. I want to be a cowboy sweetheart, the life I love best. Yodelody-hedy, oh-la-lody,
You are so inspiring and simply remarkable. Thank you for, at age 90, sharing your birthday and your story and your talent with us on WSM, where it all started for you back in 1949. Ramona Reed, who was Martha White. And how many years were you the female girl singer with Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys?
I was for 2 years straight, and then off and on for about 20 years. I went to Reno and different places, played with them on special things, in Tulsa, of course.
Well,
and Turkey, Texas, too, for Bob Wills Day.
Yeah, this is hometown, Turkey, Texas. Interesting name for a very interesting man, a country music Hall of Famer, too. Bob Wills and Texas Playboys. This is Ramona Reed, and thank you for sharing your story. God bless you. How do you plan to spend the day today? What do you do day to day? Do you still get up and milk cows?
No, but I bet you I could.
I have no doubt.
We're going to have some kind of a talent show for my birthday. You know, family and grandkids, great-grandkids, all of us.
So when is your actual birthday, Ramona?
November 16th, like the state of Oklahoma.
Well, from her home there in Oklahoma to people all over the world who are listening, who are watching on Circle Television and listening to WSMOnline.com, Ramona Reed. She is a very special lady and our very special guest this morning. God bless you. Again, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You've been here, but let's see. You've been around for all but 5 of WSM and the Grand Ole Opry's birthdays as we turn 95. So think about that. We're 95, you're 90. You just missed the first 5 years. Not too many people can say that. Thank you, Ramona.
I don't feel that old.
You don't sound that old or act that old either. I sure appreciate your time.
I hope I don't look that old.
Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tittle. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.